We acknowledge
Recording in progress.
We acknowledge the Bangala people, the traditional owners of the land we meet on today, and their continuing connection to the land, sea, culture and community. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and we extend that respect to other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people within our community. The City of Port Lincoln acknowledges and respects the diversity of cultural heritage and beliefs within our community. As a council, we are committed to serving the best interests and needs of all people in our city, and we endeavour to discharge our duties conscientiously to the best of our ability. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Welcome to elected members, council staff and people in the gallery. So just for the record, we'll go around the table for those present, elected members. Councillor Broadfoot, Councillor Rousell, Councillor Lynn, Councillor Jolly, Councillor Davis, Councillor Davies and Councillor Dodd. Thanks very much. We have apologies from Councillor Staunton and also from Councillor Ritchie.
Yep, so we've got Councillor Staunton and Deputy Mayor Ritchie. Yep.
Oh, sorry, Deputy. So, are there any declarations of conflicts of interest? No, at all. No, good. None declared. 4 is the purpose. The purpose of the special council meeting is to hear verbal submissions on the draft annual business plan 21-22, the annual budget 21-22, and changes to council's rating policy, being part of the formal consultation process required under the Local Government Act 1999. This leads me to number 5, verbal submissions. Community consultation on the draft annual business plan 21-22. So verbal submissions with regard to the draft annual business plan 21-22 will be heard from registered persons as part of the consultation process. Each person providing a verbal submission will be allocated 10 minutes to speak plus questions. If a written copy of the verbal submission is provided, it will be treated as a written submission and provided to council as part of the final consultation report. So the first person that we're hearing tonight.
Yep, we've got 2, Mayor Brad. So, in no particular order, Diana Misloff.
Yeah. Diana, do you want to come and do your presentation? Welcome, Diana. Over to you.
Thank you, Mayor Brad and councillors, CEO staff, everybody. Just congratulations on your ambitious annual business plan and budget. And as a ratepayer, my concerns are bushfire prevention. The budget includes revenue of $3,000 and expenditure of $203,000, which includes a maintenance program of $180,000. Nowhere can I see what this money is spent on, and I'm very concerned about our risk of bushfire, and I'd like to see some comment on that in the annual business plan and information on the website to see what we're paying for in the maintenance program and what areas have been prioritised. I'd like to also know how council provides for resilience in our community in this area, and perhaps that could be added to the annual business plan. Similarly, it would be good if a greening strategy was incorporated that could include conserving our natural environment, town greening, including our foreshore, roundabouts and tree planting, waste management and the use of sustainable materials. There may even be grants available for this in the future, much as is happening now with the Metro councils that they have available to them. The introduction to the annual business plan from the Mayor indicates that there will possibly be some progress towards establishing a dedicated dog park, and page 19 of the annual business plan has $200,000 allocated for open space projects, funded in full, and mentions that this may include dog park development. And I'm wondering, why can't a dog park be fully funded and budgeted this year? We're fully budgeted this year. Ratepayers have been waiting for years for a dog park. The website shows the last animal management plan was adopted on the 4th of June 2012 for 2011 to 2016, which is well past its revision date. and it's a requirement under the Dog and Cat Management Act for a 5-year plan, which must include provision for exercising dogs off leash and for effective control of dogs, none of which are provided in the plan on the website that I can see. In October 2019, it was reported in the Port Lincoln Times that work on the plan had started, but I don't see that anywhere being completed. So ways that the dog park could be funded, the animal management section of the budget has expenditure of 393,000 and revenue of 127,000, so there's no offset there. But if the staff appreciation dinner and the associated fringe benefits tax were removed from the budget, this would free up around 20,000 to make definite progress on this objective, which appears to be long overdue. Why does the ratepayer have to fund such an extravagant dinner when so many are struggling? Council should fund its own staff appreciation dinner through social club mechanisms, and that's what most other government departments do, and a lot of private enterprise also. This amount may assist to pay for the animal management plan. Also, where is the 200,000 going for the open space strategy projects? Why isn't this further defined in the annual business plan? Surely a dog park could be prioritised, but it's difficult to tell when there's no document link on the website to the open space projects or strategy. And I do note that that is in the annual budget for this year. Separately, 100,000 has been earmarked for Buckridge Park. Perhaps this could be the viewpoint that creates a special destination for tourists rather than the top of a toilet block. There's also significant nature play to be invested at this site. The playground audit of 16,000 sounds like a really good thing, and perhaps this could be completed before adding to the playground on the foreshore to see what best meets the need of the community. It concerns me that in 2014-15, a budget of over 90,000 was allocated for the foreshore playground softball. That's just 6 years ago. It concerns me that council are getting ready to invest heavily in a foreshore playground without knowing the ongoing annual costs of maintenance and asset replacement, and that is just for one playground. Similarly, the coastal marine facility strategy for boat ramps and jetties should be finalised together with an engineering report on the town jetty before council commits to extending, renewing or doing anything with the ageing infrastructure currently in place. It's good that there's 15,000 for the strategy, but that doesn't sound very much and may not include the marina at that price, and perhaps that could be further expanded and funded by the Boating Industry Fund. Capital expenditure, asking please do not allocate the 100,000 to the Hallett Place redevelopment. Please instead work towards saving these buildings and reconsidering their value to the community. With the Visitor Information Centre now relocated to the former air travel, there should be no urgency to do any further work in this area, but to engage further with the community to determine the long-term future for the Flinders Theatre site. The Flinders Theatre and Baptist Church could be repaired for less than demolition costs, as quoted by Mr Bob Hanchett, at approximately 1.6 million. Council could consider this as a future objective. Arteria renovation totalling 720,000, is this value for money? Where are the plans for the public to view on what is proposed for this building and the costings? Considering the repair costs quoted by Mr Hanchett for the theatre and church, 720,000 sounds excessive for a small group of users. Where can members of the public see the business case for this? And can this project be staged over 2 years and thereby delivering some other projects for the community like the dog park? The leisure centre seems to require a money pit of renewal. Can some of this be postponed so as to allocate funds to a dog park? Can users' charges be lifted or other expenses reduced in this area? For example, council will light the outdoor basketball ring, but lock it at night so no one can access it. Small things, but maybe they add up. 260,000 for shared infrastructure at Lincoln Cove East and South Point Reserve. Not sure what that is, and can some of that perhaps be postponed or staged, also to enable a dog park to be allocated? And it's great that there's over $1 million for stormwater management. I think that's a great outcome for our community. General rates, I was hoping they'd be reduced to 2.5%. If budget considerations need to change, then perhaps arteria should be dropped from the budget or staged over multiple years. And those groups utilising this space rehomed if possible, and if urgent works are required. Similarly, the budget for Hallett Place redevelopment could be reallocated. And I understand that some budget adjustments are not that simple with operating versus capital costs. However, I'm sure that through the workshopping process, some other variations were presented that council could look back on. My rates have gone up since 2013-14 by 39% and 101% since 2010, which is when the introduction of waste service and recycling charges sort of made a difference. Last year, council didn't fully deliver all its projects, and where have those savings gone? Salaries, fringe benefits are going up, yet the local government price index in March 21 was 1.6% and CPI 1.2%. Our rate rise should be the 2.5% previously quoted. Council should also reconsider its cruise ship funding, maybe. What analysis is there on the benefits to tourism and the dollars spent in the city? There should be a much greater recovery on this expense. Charge bus users for a pass or tour operators. Ratepayers shouldn't have to be funding this without more information. And council should at the same time perhaps consider subsidising travel from the airport to be fair on those tourists that fly in if it continues to subsidise cruise ship tourists. Spend map's been removed from the budget, and I wonder what data has been collected and is this available to the public and or the tourism operators and businesses, and I wonder why it's been removed. There's tourism other of 15,000 and 32,000 is included for new initiatives, including marketing campaigns. And can better use be made of that for videos being created to reflect a more family-oriented experience, as well as those luxury experiences already being populated. I think council should listen to community concerns and be more transparent in what it identifies in the budget and business plan. Nowhere does it mention the Flinders Theatre, but Hallett Place is used to identify this expenditure instead. And previously, I think it was referred to as the Civic Hub. The Community and Business Leaders Forum has been budgeted for both next year and this year, and I think that's a great initiative, and I wonder how that will be run and facilitated. I think the layout of the business plan is very visual, which is good, and some KPIs to measure success would be even better. I think a great job's been done presenting the figures and the visuals, but please reduce the rates and seek community feedback on that Hallett Place, Flinders Theatre, Baptist Church area. And the two messages I've got is it's very difficult to manage community expectations and to do more with less. And if you look after the pennies and pounds, the pounds will take care of themselves. And council might need to look at its discretionary spending and ways to pare that back. And councillors, if I have just asked one question that you don't know the answer to, I just wonder if you feel comfortable approving these plans and budgets. And if you know all the answers, it would be great if you could share them, and I'd love to hear from you. And if nothing else, I hope this has given you some food for thought. That's all. Yeah.
Is there any questions for Diana at all? Thank you, Diana.
Thank you.
Might just say you had 3 seconds left too, Diana. Perfectly timed. All right, Rita, that's good.
Rita, you there? Rita? Is Rita there?
Yep.
Welcome, Rita.
I feel really inadequate now. I have to say,
Welcome. Restrict to 10 minutes, all right.
that I am a ratepayer and I have been taking notice of what's been going on. I've been going to Arteria now for quite many years since the quilters have been there. And I feel that 750,000 there, what is it going to be spent on? I mean, we've been going there, and I know the city band goes there as well as the art group. I don't know if any other groups are actually using it. I could be wrong. That is a lot of money to be spent on that building when I feel that people don't really know what that building consists of or what it's being used for, that this money could go towards the Baptist church, having that done up, and maybe we could meet in a bit nicer room than the Arteria. I think Arteria is old, and I know the Baptist church is, but I think that could be done up to represent the people more than Arteria. And also, I noticed that there's 275,000 to be spent on the leisure centre. I think this is just a hole that this money is going into, and how many, I know it's just had the basketball stadium and all these, and we actually had a young lad that says that he goes out there for the basketball, but otherwise wouldn't use it. He thinks it's useless. I put down for the staff for their Christmas party, 20,000 is a waste of money. I mean, most people go out from their works or the places that they're in, they pay for their own lunch, they have a good night and go home. I've also, like Diane, the open space, which may include a dog park, 200,000 may include a dog park. Well, what else is this open space going to have put in it? Lincoln South Reserve. Now, I've got a question mark, 250,000. I don't even know what Lincoln South Reserve is. Where is it? What is going to be done there? The train playground, I know this comes up a lot, 91,000 for that. I would sooner see, I mean, I don't think there needs to be any money put into the playground down the front street. And as a great-grandmother, I had a great-granddaughter come over, and they took her for at least 2 hours every day that they're over here down the front street. I also know it gets used for handing over parents, single parents, from one parent to another, because it's in the open and it needs a lot better thing. And Parkridge Park, 100,000. I just think you need to relook at what you've got, what money you've got, and as for spending any more on Hallett Place, I think that money should go towards restoring that ground there and leaving it as it is. I know for years there's been great dispute over Hallett Place because the CWA Hall, the council thought they actually owned that, and they didn't, and we own it. So we are the only ones in that property, in that complex, the whole square, that actually own our own building. And I feel that you've taken our car parks away. Why? You used to give us 4 car parks a year to use on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They have now been taken away from us. We have trouble in the afternoon. When school gets out, we cannot leave our building. We have to either do it a half an hour before school gets out, or at least maybe 3/4 of an hour after school gets out. Now, they've got a bus parking zone in the front of our building that has not been used. I've been in CWA since in the 70s, and that has not been used as a bus park for I don't know how many years. Why does that have to stay there? Why can't we have that as parking for our building seeing we own our own land and that, why aren't we allocated any parking? Why do we have to contend with the public all the time? I think these are things, and I know we've got issues with the Oval, and I did ask for help there to get our back cleaned up, because the leaves and the rubbish that are getting thrown into our park from Centennial Oval is disgusting. Now, I'm not even supposed to do hard labour. I did try to rake up some of the leaves, it was just too much. I mean, some of the leaves are over 2 feet deep on the cement on the side of our building. And we don't own any trees. Our rainwater tank's been contaminated by the leaves and everything that have been coming in. We had a young lad, and I paid him to take all the cans and clean them from the building. I just think that you really need to sit down and find out what the people want, more than just saying you're spending all this money, but it doesn't actually say what you're spending it on. And also how much, I tried to work out from your budget, which maybe I'm not educated enough, I don't know, how much we are totally in debt and paying back, besides what this new grant is going to be. I could not understand that from your budget. So thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much. Is there any questions for Rita at all? Linda.
Thanks, Rita. That was a great presentation, although you felt quite sterile. Hey, can you tell me what year that your allocated car parks were taken away? And maybe, Matt, can you?
They were taken away 2 years ago. We were allowed 4, and we had special signs from the council that was on an A4 piece of paper for people that couldn't walk long distances. They were put on the front windscreens of their car, and they parked in the first 4 parks along on the side of our building.
So you went into chats with council 2 years ago, and they said to you no longer that exists?
Yeah.
And can I ask you, how many people go to CWA, and what is their age limit? You know, what would be their
on a Thursday, roughly 16 for handicraft. We don't have as many on a Tuesday, because that's only charity. I run a charity sewing there, which is for the Women's and Children's Hospital, for the new preemie babies, a hospital here for all the babies that are born get a full beanies, mittens and booty set. I suppose our oldest members would be in their 80s.
And they still drive?
Yep.
They still drive there? So here we are, providing a much needed organisation, taking 4 parks away.
I'm just going to pull you up there because you're making a statement, and the point is that I'm not sure about the relevance it is to what we're actually doing tonight.
If I can suggest, Mayor Brad, there's probably some matters that have been discussed in some of the presentations so far, which we can take outside of the consultation on the AVP. So, I mean, we've got JP here, who's General Manager of Environmental Infrastructure. Wasn't here 2 years ago. I wasn't here 2 years ago either. So we're more than happy to meet with the CWA and discuss.
Well, I think it comes under parking for the town. I mean, most places, when they establish a business or whatever it is, are allocated a certain amount of parks. At one stage, we were told to park on the Oval, put some steps down to our building. How can 60s, I mean, I'm in my early 70s.
Rita, I'm going to pull you up there. Again, coming back to the relevance point of view. I think, as the CEO said, that perhaps JP, you can liaise with Rita afterwards, not now.
Absolutely.
And perhaps the issues of car parking and lights can be chased up outside of session. Yeah,
Absolutely.
because I'm still not really quite getting the relevance. So, but I think that we can still facilitate the concern.
Absolutely.
Okay. So thank you very much, Rita. Okay. So
Now this is for the register. So this is a couple of so this is a bit of time.
I want to get that information out there because we've got that. Okay, so is there anyone else in the gallery who would actually like to make a presentation tonight? This is an opportunity that you can have if you like. I'm willing to take in 2 more. No? Okay, thank you very much. So I'll put a recommendation that the verbal submissions on the draft annual business plan 21-22 and the annual budget for 21-22 and changes to the council rating policy be received. Can I have a mover for that, please? Councillor Rousseau, do you want to speak on it, Robin?
No, I just want to thank the people for taking the effort of coming along and doing a presentation for us, and also for everyone else that in a variety of ways presented to us. We thank you and appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please? Councillor Davis, do you want to speak on it?
No, thank you.
Okay. Is there any comments for or against? Any statements for or against? Any questions of clarification? All those in favour? Motion carried. Thank you. There are no reports and there are no confidential reports. As such, I call the meeting to a close. Thank you very much. We've finished.